Hey everybody, welcome to Tiny Bunny. Tiny Bunny is a non-linear horror visual novel. Okay. Those who have heard the voice of the forest are beyond help. Came out in March, but around that time a lot was going on in my life, so I kind of missed a lot of games around then, so I'm doing my best to catch back up. But this was actually recommended to me on Twitter. I did a little tweet asking people to recommend horror games to me, so the next few videos are going to be the recommendations from Twitter. I'm almost to 10,000 followers on Twitter, so if you haven't followed me yet, you should. At MrKravin. Yeah. Sweet. Let's go ahead and do it. Bloop. Are these... That looks like a Venus flytrap. It is so bright. I've been clawed at my window all night long. Oh, it's frost. Frost on glass. Okay. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. I might need to move my face cam. Okay, there we go. That should be okay. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices. Shrill, gentle, sneery, twinned in the air? They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days, and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand on the edge of the forest and reassure themselves there was nobody behind those crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of the light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12, after all. Still. Oh shit, there's a face there. I don't know why. Did that just pop up when I looked up? Hey, put away your book. Nom nom nom. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouched you are. Oh, that's me? Okay. Hi, Mom. I didn't protest, and I put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Olya had finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic, she almost looked like your typical girl from the commercials. You're not going to get anywhere until you finish all of that, until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as it would make the porridge disappear. What's the difference between, like, oatmeal and porridge? What exactly is porridge? Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless nights. The black forest around our house and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. What? Oh, backlog. Oh, here we go. Longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. There we go. This is really cool. Yeah, I like that I can go back and reread stuff. And also, it says a word right there? Huh. It looked like a jellyfish from the Custio Odyssey? I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Or how cold the black forest is at night. Spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I say? I'll get it. In 10 seconds, I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this? Carved on the other side of the table. Karina. Huh, that's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? Hi, Grandma! I imagine my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Olya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Tiger's a special place, little girl. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out. Trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in the times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket. She called it her cute funeral box. It waited for us, for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olya was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside. They didn't grab my attention. The pattern of the frost formed a picture on the glass. Yeah, it looks like a fox. Olya, look, it's a fox. Where? I looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look at a certain angle, not outside, on the window. Look, there's the nose, and here's... Hey, eat up! Yes, just a moment. I don't see anything. Hurry up, there's not much left. Ah, there it is! But it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you, it does. Nuh-uh. It does. Stop it. These kids, I swear. Oh, it's gone. Now, I couldn't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern, similar to stretched out needle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. Ah, hi. Oh, hi, handsome. My dad entered the kitchen with long measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Me too. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off, it stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olya always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply. "For the sake of our family." I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. Devo. I didn't even want to finish it. I'm talking about divorce. I love that band, Devo. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister would be torn apart and taken into two different families. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your talking owl again. You said you believed me just yesterday. Does anybody see my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, father of two, and still. Karina, please stop. Just... Whoa. I'm not running Windows 8. What? Ignore? Your keys are in the basket near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Anton, stop making a martyr of yourself and finish eating already. And the owl. There was no owl. But there was one! Okay. I'm a little confused what that thing was that popped up. It had giant glowing eyes. Olga sprung up from the chair and placed her hand on her... Oh, there's a little rabbit. On her... hoodie? On her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers, the size of an apple each. Last year you had bye-bye in your closet. But I saw it! Olga shifted her gaze back and forth from mom to dad to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Don't bully your girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Olga pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Dad gave a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the eyes he just found. A minute had passed, and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room, and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances out the window. Olga had trouble sleeping ever since we moved into this house. She would toss and turn and curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped her take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Hi! Then Olga said she saw the giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. Olga refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Whew, hold on, let me take a sip. Hey, my throat's starting to get dry. Okay. Can I click on anything, or is this still just text? Okay. Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect in my new school. There was a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces. And a pair of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creature were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wish for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider, or some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olga begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or, "Anton is not around." Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all? But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with neighbors' drill? buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, in the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. Then they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner. Now I'm looking around the corners. Almost as if old photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaky. Rusty drains were moaning. The attic was occasionally occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed with the sound of the wind, the creaking old house, and my thoughts, too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that the music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone was playing it there against the cold, snowy night, right? Ooh, okay. Someone's dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with a dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around, holding hands, and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment, then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear, pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Fuck you. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart jumped around like a bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bedroom, or toward the bed. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into my bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remember the funeral. My grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down my ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling her eyelids with their tiny legs. And her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets, and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to the squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Buyan, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn from the devil's lair to feast and always leave alone God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad became very cautious recently, installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently, as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, Dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin in between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of the darkness. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. Here, let me turn the game up for you guys. There you go. It turned halfway. Once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more. And then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. Tony! It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling and snared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony! My abdomen tightened, my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tony, you asleep? Oh. My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Olya? I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. Shoo her away, Tony, please. I was so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a moment ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olya down. It was just a dream, silly. Aw, she's like shaking. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video, Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. All right, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by my grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Tony, you coming? Yes, just a moment. Rude as fuck. Dope. You let me do another sip. That's why I didn't laugh at Olya and her owl in the morning. Who could visit us here, in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide in the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olya always hides. Tony, come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. Jesus. They smelled like frost and worry. What exactly does worry smell like? What is this? And this? What is this shit, huh? Just kidding. My mom always winced and grumbled at the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello. The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova.
Look at this, please. Have you seen him?
The policeman held out a photograph to me. The artwork in this is incredible. There's a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a stray cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window? That's right. Your window looks straight at the forest, don't they? The window. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. He sounded tired, but his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed, unwillingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. How do you like a new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything is all right. Thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his gray eyes. His head started spinning. Or my head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice, to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles, and always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in the police force when his family visited this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home, steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Ah, well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy? 6th? Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Ah, then, I'll leave you my number, just in case. Call me, if you have any new info. The fuck? The policemen were gone, along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. That is a very sturdy lock. His face still stood before my eyes. I wonder what it was like for him, being all alone, there. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do, and forget about me eventually? Mom, Miss Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it, poor child. Looked out the window, at the road. The police UAZ? Why is it underlined? Yeah, like why? Huh. Okay, off towards the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. Black Kitty. I remember all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam! Solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy, and I'll get a reward. Olya would be so happy. And not only Olya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll save us from the D word. Devo. Fantasize about buying Olya a Tamagotchi. And getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. What was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at that time. Song? There's that annoying song about it. Babai is... Oh, this is a glossary. Okay. Babai, Slavic folklore, a nocturnal spirit used by parents to threaten their ill-behaving children. UAZ, a Soviet and Russian off-road freight passenger car brand, which was produced on the car factory. Black Kitty, a series of contemporary Russian original or translated teen mystery books. Accountant, sung by an all-female Soviet pop band by the name of Combination that was widely popular in the early 90s. Excuse me. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. Nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olya. Sometimes I gave her my share, too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out, looking for clues. I'm going outside! Whoa! Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. That's what she said. That's literally what she said. Sorry. What boys got snatched up by wild animals? Or something even worse. Even worse. Echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself? Oh my god, why is my nose like suddenly running so much? Better go pack your school bag and play with Olya. Or play with Olya. Sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant the argument was over, and Mom had the last word. Oh, shit. Okay. The cross had seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black as if it had absorbed all human sin for the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom's going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm. But she cut herself with the cross's sharp corner and almost fell off the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross be left alone in its rightful place. Let's see. Dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe. Olya can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babai is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I liked to hide in the closet and listen to Olya count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Okay, here, can I... Boop. Let's save. Anton! I'll whip you if you take a single step outside. I need to distract Mom somehow or end up being scolded and my ass whipped with Dad's leather belt. Okay. I take a peek amongst... Oh, I can just randomly click on shit. Oh, unless there's that I button up there for a reason. Crossword. She would get very angry when someone gave her advice, so me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at that fleeting thought. Vertical, 9 letters. The name of the Philistine deity that protected them from viper bites and had a nickname, the Lord of Flies. Second letter is E. MrKravin of Russia has declared the state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to weather forecasts, a cyclone is moving toward the region. Expect heavy snowfall, blizzards, and snowdrifts on the road. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. Decrepit and stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in Grandma's house. I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's leaf, first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the Taija forest without my help. Boof boof. One day, closer to New Year's, one day closer to Grandma's funeral. I haven't touched this calendar for years now. Since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions, to be exact. I grab a dusty calendar leaf with caution and tore it off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carry the log. If 7 can't carry, bring... Oh. What? Damn it. Didn't have it on there. And, hold on, I think there's still stuff open in the background? Yeah, it's so weird. Sorry, I keep clicking, I don't mean to. It was spreading inside me like an ink. Okay. So now he's getting nervous or something? The side of an old ocean freezer was checkered with my childish drawings, mom's recipes, and all kinds of stickers from bubblegum with dinosaurs that Olya likes so much. Among that still life picture hung a piece of ruled paper with the phone number of the police officer who visited us. First Lieutenant Tikhonov. Maybe? Professor TikTok. I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's sprawling handwriting. The scrap of paper was held by 2 pieces of broken magnet from the old Soviet toy. From old Soviet toy, and those pieces just barely covered up the numbers as if to taunt me. I leaned toward it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to a safer place where it would wait for its time, wherein I would finally, find Vova and be the first to call the police with the happy news. Anton! Mom's reproachful eyes stared at me. What do you need it for? Hands off, you'll lose it. Angering my mom was the last thing I wanted, so I lowered my hand. Okay. Polemy. Russian variety of dumplings. Ooh, made by boiling thin, unleavened dough? Okay. Filled with mincemeat. One may call it Russian fast food. That sounds delicious. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olya there, but now I only see meat bits for soup and clumped together polemy. I grew to hate them already. Pickle? Medicine. Eggs. Okay. I won't touch it ever again. Okay. Hey, Mom. It's difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Oh, you're killing me here. So you've had enough of shooting those stupid ducks down? Told you the kinescope would go dim because of your console. Oh, is that a Duck Hunt reference? Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings? Please, go see for yourself. Strange, it worked fine this morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it. My mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olya's room. Okay. Got everything else in here.
Машина, в которой он находился, была обстреляна неизвестными вооруженными лицами.
Куплю жене сапоги.
Это просто, Леня. АО ММС.
Oh, okay. Mom's peg top, a family relic. What is a peg top? My mom played with it when she was little, then she gifted it to me. Oh, it's the thing you spin and yeah, okay. Or you press it, then it spins. Olya was the next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something. A fairy tale, or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky peg top. Anything else? Prevent me from making long-distance calls. From time to time, I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the Zoomer. What's up, Zoomer? And the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in the ice laden chords. Front yard, baby! Oh, are you an owl? What are you? I opened the front gate and into the field. Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half the distance toward the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remember my nightly fears. I saw silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. The hypnotizing music started playing in my head, all on its own. The light in the day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me. And a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent, I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olya. The time reached its limit. A one-way trip that ended at the forest's piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Sorry. Whew. There's a lot of reading. I didn't know it was 100% reading. Like, I didn't expect it to, like, be read to me, but I thought there was going to be a few more puzzles. Or, like, clickable sections. Let's see. Yeah, sometimes silence was scarier than any scream. And this is also very true for most, like, horror games. Woo, woo, woo. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olya turned to stone listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Out apartment? It's supposed to be our apartment. Became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together. Almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day, it all changed. Something important had left our home. And something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke up, and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves from us, or save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead cold eyes and sometimes visit us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything? What? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything. And somewhere far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. ... Hi! I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around me. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun, and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark, in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the ice. Oh. What are you? Dry prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. What were they protecting the forest? Or they keep something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow. When I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Streets of broken lights. Senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called Streets of Broken Lights. Russian mystery TV series telling a story of the daily life of Russian police officers. It's the longest running series in the history of Russian TV at the moment. Cool. He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova. That's good sound design. It actually yelled Vova. Someone was standing there, behind the trees, hiding. Good sound design. I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still. Something was unsettling about that figure. Now I'm looking like, where? Its stillness. How it bent unnaturally toward the ground. Its blackness. Racist. There's no one there. Just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared up from my sight. Looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. It was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. Whoop. Shit. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Take it. I saw you take the lonely mitten from the branch. Vova. A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. Do I need to click on it? Or is it too late? I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder, the branch creaked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishing sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it, thinking, and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't had to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone, forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength and spurred me on. You can do it, don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts, rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from the twisted pines, from underneath the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back! It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became vicious, like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap, to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow was pulling me, was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure of my legs was gone, but my boots slipped out one of the holes. My soles were hard on the surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump, and from there, I ran to my house. Whew! His gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. The house was my line of defense from the shadows. Is this his house? That was a barn. Shadows that flapped their wings and creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. All in my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the woods with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I had noticed these marks as when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my eyes was so much louder than my surroundings, I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled the doorknob and it obediently gave way. Huh. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the off the lock and couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone, and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from Mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it, the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness had detached, and attachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition. My wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you? Am I nothing to you too? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom remained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There was something chasing me. I thought... I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and stiffened my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked in the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant. She covered her mouth with her hand. Look, over there at the fence! My heart started thumping as if became prey once again, and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her fingers, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in the snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs! Just a small pack of strays, with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Oh boy. Were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. They were chasing me, like a bunny. Oh, tiny bunny. And what if they're rabid? Smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attack Olya? Mom? I wish your dad could shoot them all. Ah! Mom, look! They're alive! Huh? What? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, and rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And for what? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course! A darkened, sticky mitten that belonged to the lost city boy. Wait, why did I say city? Lost boy, and made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Look, Mom, this is Vova's mitten. The boy the police were asking for about this morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show you where. Let's call the police right away, like the officers had told us to. Mom, look. Ew. A shadow of doubt slowly crept in my mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away. Stop at this moment. Olya will go insane if she hears you. She's already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time. And you joke around like this? At the moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink to the floor from embarrassment. Come here, my boy, cried Wolf. Oh, don't stand there. Come take your pills. A golden-covered pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell into my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home, and you? Dad would give you a good whipping for that. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night. And you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with simply awful water that gave off the taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters. And Olya's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either Bella had an immediate effect, or my exerted brain didn't let the fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawny indifference along with it. Anton, you done? See? You can do it when you try. Do what? Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom. I was just thinking. About what, I wonder? It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son, or just some doppelganger that came from the forest. Is everything all right? You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. It's all right, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric became discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olya was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to the other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Ooh, hold on. Ooh. Then I went upstairs. Nope, Jafar's alter ego, something? Jafar and Lago's voices died down. Come here. Ugh, itchy nose. I walked past Olya's bedroom and slipped into my own. A Triceratops figurine. I know about all sorts of dinosaurs. Velociraptors, donuts, hypnotic donuts. That's what it says. I remember going to the movies to see Jurassic... Wait, when does this take place in Russia? This is like late 90s? Jurassic Park when we still lived in the city and taking pictures of the T-Rex in the hall. It turned its head and roared. It was awesome. And next to it was a Robotech Transformer. I love this cartoon. When a jet fighter speeds up into the intro, along the sound of a blaster fire, you know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Space station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle. I've never seen Robotech. I dreamt of becoming an artist since Dad bought me my first coloring book. Fly magazine was the coolest. I especially liked the big space-related edition with alien monsters, that funny episode about Fly, the first Soviet and Russian periodic adult comics magazine, extremely popular during the crazy 90s. What made the magazine stand... Oh, is this like Mad Magazine? Made the magazine stand out was the refusal to use material for its from its foreign counterparts. Okay. I started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day, and I seem to be getting pretty good at it. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll even publish my comic? One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten there. I got an achievement called Run for Your Life. The simple action drained the last bits of strength from me. I sat on the bed. Oh, I wanted to open the window. But I noticed there was someone behind the curtain. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to the medication I took or stress I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The room's corners bent and undulated. I like that word, undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor. Just like a savant of sorts. Olya? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried up lips. Yeah, Olya, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. But dumb beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the fields with a chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They were looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Gotcha! I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olya's head, with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. And she still has a little tiny bunny thing on her hoodie. When she was a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day, and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a child woven from light. I saw everything. Oh, really? What did you hide? She was just like Mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice. It's nothing. Just... Olya ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked, "You stole something and hid it there? Are you a thief?" What? Don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from the tree branch. Hold on, there was text. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure, standing behind the black trees. Olya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Then show me! Swear that you won't tell anyone, then I'll show you. Olya wore a plotting smile. I swear on Mom's heart. That's weird. I know she heard in one of her favorite movies, The Pioneers, we've watched. Umbrella term for communist children organizations existing around the world, somewhat reminiscent of the Scout movement. Okay. Don't say things like that. Olya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the door and Olya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. Is this someone's mitten? She said, as if she couldn't understand what she saw. A certain boy lost it, and got lost himself. Now you understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander in the forest, right? It must be really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house, showing photos to everybody. Olya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. And why are they going to houses and not into the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. The police aren't scared of anything. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later, for me. I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olya away, as far away as possible from the black thicket, or from forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy myself. A lot of stuff, like in Field of Wonders. Field of Wonders is a Soviet-Russian TV game show, still running to this day, coming out every Friday. Can be described as a partially adapted version of Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Sounds cool, right? Olya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with her incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense. An owl wouldn't be able to lift a human. But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's, how should I put it? It's cursed or something. Just like a fairy tale? No, not like that. More like in that spooky tape Mom and Dad are hiding from us. What? Olya shivered and stole a glance at the window. I saw you running away. Oop. Didn't mean to right click. Someone was chasing you? No, it's just, I was hurrying back home so my mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind, and her small fire would be gone. You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower. Can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here. You're wrong. No one has ever died of boredom. And you have me and your cartoons. And Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. Okay. You know what? I would wish for... You know what I would wish for my next birthday? I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to. Yeah. And if you'd make them as small as bugs, we could place them into little boxes. Olya giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Tony, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on. It's so boring alone, and Mom is always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I was gonna say, like, wouldn't he have seen all of them by now? I know all of your tapes by heart at this point. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go, let's go! Maybe a bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know. Let's play hide and seek. No, Olya. Then draw me a dino. Olya, please. Draw it, draw it! Will you leave me alone already? I blurted it out without thinking, and then immediately taken aback. I never screamed at my little sister before like that. Olya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happened to me? I hurried to prevent Olya from crying. All right, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit. I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Boo, you fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't. And I'll draw you a full Triceratops later. Hooray! Triceratops? Close enough. Olya rubbed her eyes with her sleeve on her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rewind the tape. That actually sounds really good. The bread is fresh, just how you like it. All right, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll get yelled at again. Want to bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand for it. Nightstand, look for it. Olya disappeared in the doorway. I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Okay, got a lot of stuff in here. The scary window where Olya sees that accursed owl every night, lurking in the dark. Olya keeps the curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes, she shuts them tight, so she wouldn't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. What else can I look at? Box. Slinky. Is that the Toy Story ball? A piggy bank. Olya's saving money for a real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. Olya's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Olya doesn't sleep without it. And she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. Aww. Let's see. I am the most obnoxious person. Hey, I think that's it. Oh, Jesus. His reflection kind of scared me. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the bottom of the front panel. The tube warmed up, and familiar white noise started dancing in the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR. When the noise calmed down, a blurry image appeared for a moment. Oh, it's the forest. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few months later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch a rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons. Even that was pretty rare. And only just recently, I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch the channel again? On the other hand, Olya asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I don't have the strength to do all of it. Let's do the TV. The picture finally cleared up. But the moment I rejoiced at finding that weird signal again, the TV started coughing, a voice barely coming through the cacophony. He was often seen at the moment when small snowy hills were lined up on screen, pierced with rickety crosses, and a male voice was narrating with a slow, mournful voice. It was a pitch-black night at the cemetery. In the fateful dark time, little Senya met her fate at the face of a monstrous thicket dweller. The locals call him none other than the Forest Master. What? I froze. I did my best not to move, as if by doing that I could scare away the narrator. I listened closely to his every word. The beast dealt with the helpless girl in a masterful manner. Oh, whoa. The camera panned across the snow, with something black spilled over it, looking for ragged pieces of cloth that were thrown all over the place. I didn't want to think whether Senya's remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. The voice continued. Wolves are rare guests in these parts. Here's what Tamara, the old woman that lives nearby in a nearby crypt, had to say. Why does she live in a crypt? A close-up shot of the... I like the little... A close-up shot of the face of an old homeless woman, weary from life and alcohol abuse, rattled on the screen. Yes, yes, such a fearsome beastie it was. Worse than the rising dead. The old woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular microphone. Hey. In the stink, it's like... The rest of her comparison was swallowed up by the sound of a horn. I've never felt anything like that. It was just standing there, yes. Right where you stand, boyo, and pierced me with its eyes right in the middle of a day. It was so huge, that one, with glassy eyes. Some of these were covered by another beep. You know, they say if this demon lays its eyes on you, it'll snatch you, put you in his bag, and you're done. But he won't touch me. Likes me, it seems. They even called me the devil's wench. It's definitely true. The carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of the forest beasts, going for the innocent child's blood instead. The Forest Master's presence is felt more and more on the outskirts of our country. that what I say, country? Or was it county? Yeah, country. Torn between believing in what was said and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. I quickly grabbed the tape that was on top of the TV and put it in the VCR without even looking at the cover. He's taped over Peter Pan. I pressed record, turned the sound up, and paid attention to the slipping signal. It's not called the Forest Master for nothing. All of the animals obey it, but they, be they hairy or feathery, they're all precursors for its appearance. If you hear howls in the distance, then it's most likely already knows where you live. If you find animal prints all over your doorstep and birds watching you from the trees, you'd better hide. It's already coming for you. And if you wake up at night and see a pair of glowing eyes in your window... Oh, this is the announcer now. Then soon. 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 How soon? The TV suddenly went mad and looped the last word over and over, piercing my eyes. I got goosebumps all over my spine. The tape ended and was rewinding to the beginning. The sound of the rustling tape reminded me of leaves in the wind and the low howl of the beast. I woke up from my stupor and pressed the button. The VCR ejected the tape, and for a moment I thought it was stained with saliva. That was just the light from the chandelier, making the black plastic glossy. And then I saw the cover. Oops, I recorded it over Peter Pan. That's what I get for hurrying. It was bad enough I ruined Olia's cartoon, but I also put this creepy stuff over it. I can't let her see this. We'll drown in tears. I stuck a glance at the door. I could hear the clatter of glass and squeaky floorboards. Olia approached in the doorway. You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. No. I was looking for the tape. Do you really want to watch Peter Pan? I do. Turn it on already. Mom will come watch her Brazilian drama soon. Come on, think, detective. You know, I don't like Peter Pan. Maybe you should watch Little Mermaid instead. I've already seen it too many times. And you promised me. She's so stubborn. I know. Let's watch a couple of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episodes first, deal? Olga frowned, but ultimately gave up. She put down the tray and crossed her arms on her chest. If you want it so much. Can you open the milk can, please? I'm afraid I'm gonna cut myself in the sharp edges. As soon as I stood up, colorful dots popped in my eyes. My sore legs were pierced by thousands of needles. Only when I reached the sofa, I realized the can was already open. Olga tricked me, played me for a fool. My stomach became heavy. I wanted to rush toward the TV, but my sister was faster. She picked up the remote and proclaimed in a victorious tone, "Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha! As the remote's master, I command you to watch Peter Pan." Then he opened my mouth, and the VCR had already eaten the accursed tape. She'll play it, and then... black crosses on unnamed graves, empty crypts, bloody scraps in the snow, and the insane devil's wench. I'd better tell her the truth. Olya, stop! I erased the end of your tape by accident. I'll trade it to you for 2 of mine. What do you mean? You couldn't erase it. Me and Dad had broken off all the plastic pins with a screwdriver. You can't record anything over my cartoons now. My little sister pressed the triangular play button on the remote. I squeezed on the inside, awaiting this out-of-this-world voice of the narrator. But I saw the duel between Peter Pan and Captain Hook instead. I sighed in relief. My head was heavy as a leaden ball, now rested in my hands. Olga smiled in joy. She put the tape on rewind and started spreading the milk over her bread. When the cartoon started, she forgot about everything in the world. As if she really got transported to Neverland. Like she always wished. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where no one ever ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sounds of broken plates at night. Now Pan's land was especially far away from me. My thoughts dragged on, stumbled upon the horned beast that awaited me among the trees, and the narrator's mournful voice haunted me, sliding over bushes and ravines, like a winged carnivore would track its prey. I felt like I was dreaming, with my eyes still open, and my sister's scream pulled back to reality. Tony, shut the curtains fast! Why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I did my best not to look outside, toward the treetops, toward the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from shadows of branches scraping the snow. Tony, Mom thinks I made the owl up, and Dad too. Thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly it does. You do believe me, right? That it comes every night, and... My sister grabbed Olya's hand and looked in her eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, all right. Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens. And don't look out the window. But it wants me to look. Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad say. They'll get tired of waiting and fly away. Will it really? But will it? All this reading is like making my mouth so dry. It was madness. But after everything that's happened recently, I was more and more inclined to believe Olya's owl existed. We followed Peter Pan's adventure as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a glided sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Olya's eyelids had dropped. She started snorting lightly, resting her chin on the side of her bed. The chorus was singing the end of the song. The world of Disney was lit up by a silver moon. Another moon peeked under the first one, scary and wan, hanging over the Taija forest. The horrific report got recorded over the credits. My throat went dry. My pulse became faster. I looked toward Olya. She smacked her lips in her sleep. I squeezed the remote with all my might, ready to press stop at any moment. I rewound the recording, checked it was intact, and carefully took out the tape. The protective pin was still in place. I stood up and left Olya's room. Whether it was by providence or by curse, I hid the tape alongside the mitten at the exact moment my mom peeked into my room. I got an achievement called Curse Tape. Enough playing around. It's your first day of school tomorrow. Gotta go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. Covered my face with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up, and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered in the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before coming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. Thank you for playing episode 1 of Tiny Bunny. Did you enjoy it? Yeah, going on next. Damn it. I liked it. That was really good. I didn't know that it was just episode 1. I thought this was the full thing. Hey. So yeah, that was the end of episode 1. I have no idea when episode 2 comes out, but I really, really, really like that. It was a lot of reading, which visual novel, I expected that, but that was a lot of reading. I don't mind that. I'm just not like the best out loud reader because I don't know, I tend to like rush ahead mentally as I'm reading, and I accidentally fill in my own words, I guess. Yeah. Oh well. I like that a lot, and I love the art style, and the sound design was mwah, so good. Yeah, that's really good. I like that. Sweet. If you want to play it yourself, links in the description. Thanks for watching. You should follow me on Twitter and send me some recommendations for any horror games you should think I should play. And yeah, cool. Okay, bye.